have to grasp this. All other continents were colonized or conquered by white people long ago. So grasp. Asia, China area, Europe, Australia, all these different places have been conquered by white people long before America. 1492 was not that long ago. So y'all have to grasp, America was just recently conquered or colonized. So you have to grasp, this is why they called America the New World, because it was untouched. The natives that lived here, they lived with the life. They didn't build cities over the forest because that's where they got their food and everything they needed in life. So they didn't understand that concept in the system that white men brought. But it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. America was the last or one of the last places to be conquered. This is the new world that we live in. So it's a deep thing. Like Europe. Europe been conquered by white people. I know people like to think white people are native to Europe, but this is not true. This is truly what the Moors are. The Moors are the natives of Europe. Black people were everywhere. But I don't want to go into debates and things like this, but it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. Now, when you're dealing with slavery, America is the new land. Now, we like to assume that Africans were being transported to America, and this is the connection of slavery. And this is not actually true. Africa been colonized, so African slaves were being transported to Europe and many other places way before America was even discovered. So Africans were being transported all over the place way before America. So you have to grasp. Now, when America was discovered, we kind of get this assumption that big boats came here with a bunch of white people on it and they just took over the land. And that's not what happened. It kind of happened in this way. Christopher Columbus was basically paid by the king or queen of whatever country sent him. Spain. And they sent him with their servants or slaves, because this was already the way of the world. America just had no understanding of this. But this was already the way in the life. People were enslaved. It just wasn't like that in America. People were conquered. Different tribes conquered of the tribes, and if they spared your life, you was a servant, of course. But I mean slavery in the sense of people being transported and shipped like resources, like cars and food is transported. When it gets to that point, then you have to grasp, this is like crazy. People are being transported like goods and merchandise. So it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. But white people were coming over here basically to carve themselves out some land in the new world. It's a new world. The people over there, they view them as uncivilized. And it's a deep thing because the way we live is truly uncivilized. Meaning the system, the cities, the white man's way of living that we live, this is truly uncivilized because we build all of this over the forest. And this is where the vegetation, the animals, this is where all of that is. So you just build over your own food and your own resources. It's a deep thing, but white men, I don't want y'all to think they came in packs, but you know, one by one, white men came. Now, you had white men financed by rich kings and queens. They were sent here with a bunch of slaves or servants to work the land, build up the land. And more white people came eventually over time to basically carve out their place in this new world. Basically expand. And then you had others from other places like Ireland, And they ain't like they conditions over there, so they like, oh, I'm gonna try to get me a ride to America and get me my own land. And then, you know, when they get here, they realize most of the land is taken already. So then they're forced to work on plantations also, like slaves. But I jumped ahead, so let me get back to the beginning. When it first happened in slavery, white people came here, and they had a hard time, because a lot of the natives were killing them, because they didn't understand what they were doing. Why are you here? What's going on? And then they heard tales about white people in the cities of stones, the places of stones. So it was a deep thing. They had their little oral traditions. So, like Christopher Columbus, when he first came, they set up their little shop, and he left a few men here, like 16, I forgot how many. But he left a few men here, and he went back to his lands or whatever to let them know what was going on and bring back whatever was scavenged at that moment and let them know it is in abundance and I need more ships and more servants. And when he got back, them men were killed. So it's a deep thing. This is what I mean by they were being killed in the beginning, because the natives didn't understand what they wanted. Why are you here? So it's a deep thing, but the white people, you know, they kind of got accustomed. You know, they've been taking over and colonizing continents for years now. So they kind of good at this. So they started coming along, setting up shop, making little pacts with certain tribes. Because, you know, it's the same way now. This group of people, they had this area. This group of people had that area. I'm speaking of the natives. The Chickasaw had this area and maybe that area and that area. The Cherokee may have had South Carolina, North Dakota, you know, like that. So it was in that sense. And they would set up little packs. They were basically mingling in with them. So, you know, they'd have a baby with, like Pocahontas and John. You know, stupid stories like this, it gives you a perspective. They would, like, mingle with them and procreate with them. Therefore, you know, they're a part of them. If I'm black and you're white and we have a child together, I kind of feel bad slaughtering you because I'm like, you know, we share. So it's deep. But they mixed and mingled in at first before they begin to take over. Then, you know, other rich kings and things like this, they hear about America and they start sending people over, and then it becomes crazy. So this is around 1500 times. It's starting to get crazy because everybody's hearing about the new world and everybody wants their peace. It's like now, if we heard, oh, there's a new continent discovered, you know how many people going to be running over there? Rich people going to be sending they are servants with servants, and yo, y'all go over there and set it. So it's deep. This is how it was. But around 1500s, it was getting crazy. 1500s, 1600s, it started becoming populated, overpopulated with foreigners. You got white people and their slaves. You got white people coming over here that's not even rich. They just figure, man, it's a new world, I can be rich. And then they get here and they realize, man, land is already taken. Then they become slaves too. So it's chaotic around the 1600s. Everybody's fighting and warring with everybody. The Native Americans don't truly understand what's going on. They don't understand that, yo, this is going to eventually become a takeover of the whole continent. They think it's just like areas, like, oh, they trying to live on this continent too. They don't think everybody's trying to come and take it over and make it a system. So they're not fighting them off. It's like whatever. Then you figure if I'm from, let's just a perspective, I'm from Manhattan or New York, and you from California, and I hear white men over in California taking over. I don't care because I'm like, we was beefing with them anyway. So this is the mentality people have, not realizing that they coming your way too, so it's best you bond with them and help. But this is how they, you know, worked their way through. Then you had cases like Peterman Wheat, when they got farther north, like into Manhattan, and he bought land from one of the natives. I forgot his name. But he bought land from one of the natives up there in the Inwood area of Manhattan. And it's rumored that he brought it with rocks, like 3 rocks or something. But It could have been diamonds, you know, stones, because they say he bought it with stones. But it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. It was a lot of trickery going on because the language was different. The natives didn't speak the language the white men spoke. So it was a lot of confusion. It was a lot of weird stuff going on. White men give you stones, diamonds for your land, but you don't understand that's what he doing. Next thing you know, you signing the paper. But if you ain't never lived in a system, you don't understand paperwork. That's stupid. So if a man be like, give me your land, sign this paper, you like, I don't understand. Signing paper don't mean nothing. In our society, it does. Signing the paper is an oath, and you bonded to that. But in the Native American times, they like, a piece of paper don't mean nothing. Your word is what means something, and me signing my name on paper don't mean nothing. I don't got nothing to do with my word or what is that? We wipe our ass with paper. So it's deep. They didn't understand. But paperwork, courts, all of this was in the process of being built. Rules and laws. This is why you had like slaves to be wanted. And if they were captured, they would become slaves. So it's deep. We see slaves as a forced thing. No one was truly forced to be a slave except for those that were brought here as slaves. The natives were not forced into slavery. They had a choice. You can go along with this system. They had the same choice we have now. You can go along with the system or starve out because we taking over all the territory. And if you don't got no territory, you can't grow food and have materials to make clothes. So you can go with the system that we're creating, or you can starve out. So this is how a lot of the Native Americans became slaves. Meaning this is how we became slaves, how we are. Where we work in the system, but we don't realize we're slaves. Slavery was not that different than you see now. This is the system of slavery. It's just a struggle in the beginnings because when people live with the life, they don't understand that. I work for you so I can have food. But I go to the forest and get food. So you can't convince a person to work for you for any reason if they won with the life. They're not going to grasp that. They like, why would I do that? You work now for food. You work to pay for your shelter. You work for clothing. In the past, they got all of this from the life. The forest. They got the cotton from the forest. They got the animal skins and all of this from the animals in the forest. This was their clothing. They got their food from the forest. They got everything they needed from the life. Now, if a white man come along and be like, hey, I got this system. You work for me, and I'll give you money, and you can buy food and clothes. Who would do that? They're like, why? I already got food, clothes, I got everything I need, I'm rich. The life provides. Why work for you? So they just could not understand the concept. It's like explaining something to somebody that they don't understand. Why would I want to do that? So you got to grasp, it's a struggle in the beginning when you're conquering a people who have not been systemized or influenced into the government structure and slavery way we live. Y'all don't get what I be saying because y'all already in the slavery. But if y'all can understand that the life provides all the things y'all work for, and the only reason you don't have access to it is because you don't own the land anymore. This is why I tell people, we are not the descendants of Africa, because we're the descendants of here. This is the land that they just took. Grasp. When they took it, it was copper-colored people here. I am copper-colored. This is why most black people in America, back in the day used to always say, oh, I got Indian in my family. All black people. Because natives of the land. But you know, after the mixed breeding and things, people begin to get confused and lost. You go with whatever you told. We all know if the people of this land were coppered color, then who are the Indians in the reserves? Because they ain't copper color. So y'all have to grasp. They put their descendants, white people put their descendants, meaning those that, white people and natives of the land, they procreated together. Those that were mostly white blood, those are who you see on the reserves. And those that mostly native blood that still look copper colored, these are the ones you see struggling in the life. Because white men know who we are. They know those are the natives that were here. The African slaves were already enslaved. They already had the mentality. It was the natives that were giving them the struggle. The copper colors. The same people that give them the struggle today. Black people don't want to work. We've been brainwashed into the system, and as you can see, we still don't want to go with it. Dominicans, Haitians, Colombians, all the lands that were conquered in America, or in the Americas, whether south or north, all those people are the same people today. They truly don't want to work. And we're the ones you see having the complications. Not the Africans. Us. The copper colors. And that's why. Because our descendants was the native of the land. And they didn't understand the system, so they never went with it. They went against it. And they were killed off, and they did a lot of killing. But after generations and generations, people start not understanding. They like, man, we ain't got that much land, and you got the system here. All you got to do is go work. They going to pay you. You can buy things. They don't understand the natural way of life, where you can have all that and more. If you get them out the goddamn land, they taking it over. So this is where all the confusion happens. Till you get to the point where the natives of the land don't really have no more land to live. Most of them done went and worked on the plantations and things. Because the plantation ain't nothing but businesses. So how we have businesses today? You had plantations in the past. The plantations became businesses. The plantations were nothing more than businesses in their beginning stages. Before you have a city, you have to build it up. This is where plantations come in. This is where warehouses and things like this come in. So the plantations was just the business. And workers lived at the business site. Because they brought the workers here with them. So you had African slaves being brought from Europe. Because most of them was being transported to Europe a long time ago. They was bringing slaves they already had from generations and generations. And bring African slaves here. And then you had a whole bunch of natives here. But they couldn't get them to understand that system. So it's a deep thing. But we have to truly fight to get this land back. I know black people, they are looking for something to fight for. And that's truly the fight. The Chinese people you see here, the Indians you see here, people from Australia, white people, Africans, all the people you see here, if you remove them and you just leave black people in North America, leave them there, leave Mexicans in Mexico, leave Haitians in Haiti, leave Dominicans in DR, remove the Puerto Ricans because that's the Spanish from Spain. So Puerto Ricans, as we would call them, are Spanish. These are those that came from Spain. So this is Christopher Columbus. Dominicans are truly not Spanish. They would have been the natives of DR and Haiti. The DR and Haiti people are one. You have to grasp. Separate lands would have been to certain tribes, but all the people of this continent were like one. You have to grasp. They were one race in a sense. meaning they look the same. But it's a deep thing. They came with African slaves, and this is how you got Africans on the continent. And Africans don't look like the natives. They're not copper-colored people, but they look similar, but not fully the same. So it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. Now, over time of mixing and mingling, this is how you get where we are today. But it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp, because in most lands or continents of this world, you have many Africans. There's not that many Africans in America. Grasp that. The population of Africans in America is not that high. You don't have a whole bunch of Africans in Haiti and DR and in the Virgin Islands, and you don't have that many Africans all over North America. We have Africans here, but it's not a lot of them. Now, you would think if boatloads and boatloads of African slaves were being brought here, you would think there would be a larger population of Africans. You have to grasp. So the way we have it today, the Native Americans just disappeared or were killed off, but they don't exist no more. Their descendants are the white people that are on the reservations that's called Indians. But we know those ain't copper-colored people. So basically, what happened to the copper-colored people? They disappeared. Because everyone says that we're the descendants of Africans. So if we're the descendants of Africans, then what happened to those copper-colored natives? Because the ones on the reserves ain't them. And this is my point. These are questions that one must grasp. The copper-colored people still here. We think the Native Americans died off, and you're looking right at them. The people that don't have a clue who they are, that's who you are, the natives of the land. But if you know that, then this is why white people say go back to Africa. This is why when I hear Dr. Umar Johnson and brothers in the Pan-African movement say we need to go back to Africa, and they use that word Africa, it just pisses me off. Because Africa is the name that was placed on all those different nations of people on that continent. That word Africa, that word has to do with the colonizing of white people. So that word is negative. I hate that word. It just annoys me. And when people say we need to go back to Africa, that's what white people were saying to us. Because they wanted America. This was the new world. They'd tell the natives anything to get them the fuck out of here. Get out of here. I'm sorry, but this is passionate to me because people really be lost on this. A lot of people like to debate, but they truly don't understand. You debating your own life away. This is our land. If you a black person and you like, man, I don't know what our nationality truly is. Man, this is our land, y'all. Y'all gotta wake up. If the white people leave and everybody leave, who left? Black people, Cubans, Dominicans, Haitians. That's what's left. Now ask yourself, what color are these people? Copper color. You looking right at me right now. Do I not look the same color as a penny or close to it? Do I not look the same color as gold? Because gold looks similar to copper. So do we not all look somewhat like copper? Grass. They didn't say, oh, they brown, they black. They said, man, they look like copper. The way their skin is, we don't really look brown. We like it's deep. Y'all have to grasp. Skin tones. Black people got a certain glow that Africans don't. Our skin has a shine. I don't have no cocoa oil on, nothing like that. It's late. I'm about to go to bed. You see my lips chapped and all that? But we just got a certain glow. And I want y'all to grasp. This is our land. And yes, we do have something to do with the Africans because they mixed and mingled with us. And we had no problems with the Africans. We had problems with the white people that were trying to take over. So we get lost in this debate about Africa. And when I tell y'all, man, we the natives of this land, people get lost and they like, oh, you going against your... And my fight ain't got nothing to do with Africans, because the natives of this land ain't had no problems with Africans. Grasp that. Africans had problems with the natives, and white people had problems with the natives. White people had problems with the natives because the natives was giving them a hard time of taking over the land. And the Africans had a problem with the natives because they were the slaves of the white people. So it's just like today. You work at your job. If somebody come to your job fucking with your boss, you ready to fight them and protect your boss. Everybody at the job, they gonna stick up for the boss. Like, who that? Hope the boss bless them with a bonus or something. And we all gotta be real. We know how it is. And this is how the slaves were. They were already conditioned. So you had Native Americans that used to raid certain plantations. They would come to the plantation and just kill a master and just do whatever they want. Because the natives weren't slaves. This was their land. So they pretty much could do what they want. They would raid in plantations, steal everything they want, fuck up the master. But the slaves were so, the African slaves were so lost, they wouldn't even go with them. They would help the master. Now, the natives ain't had no problem with the Africans, so they usually didn't do nothing to them. Unless they tried to fight them, but it was all to the whites. So my point is this. I don't have no problem with no Africans or anybody wanting to embrace African culture. I don't care about that. My main thing is I want y'all to understand that the land that we own, this is our land. We sitting here looking for land and looking for this place to claim and this heritage to claim, forgetting that we the copper-colored people of the place that we're in already. It's a deep thing. You got the fake natives on the reservations. They getting our just due, because that's ours. If anything, it's supposed to be. But the white man give it to the natives that look like them, meaning those natives on the reserves look white because they 25% native and 75% European. And we the reverse. Some of us probably got 25% European blood and 75% native. Most of us got 75% or more native. And that's the information that's being kept. Because if you don't see yourself as a native of America, then you ain't going to feel cheated of anything. You're going to feel like, oh, I need to go back to Africa or go here. They don't care if y'all go back to Africa. Grasp that. White people don't care if you go to Africa or wherever you want. Just don't claim here. This ours. So y'all have to grasp. It's a deep thing. This was the best place on earth, America. Because it wasn't colonized by white people yet. It was a fresh start. It's the deepest thing. This place got so many different... You got so many different islands. This was like a continent of islands. Don't get mistaken. Manhattan, Brooklyn, these is all islands. They just destroyed them and turned them into cities. Imagine if they took one of them beautiful islands in Bahamas and just turned it into Manhattan. Then you would grasp, like, why would you do that? You got to grasp. It's documented fact. Documented fact. And you can go listen to Native American, I forgot what you call it, oral tradition, or their little oral stories. Before Christopher Columbus came here, you could drink out of any river in America. Grasp that. If you live in New York, the Hudson River, you could have drunk water out of there. The water was clear, like it be in those Virgin Islands where you could just see the fish and the water's like beautiful blue and clear. Before Christopher Columbus got here, I know they don't have pictures, and that's probably why. Because they don't want you to know how beautiful it looked and what was done. But you could drink from the Hudson River. The water was pure. The natives did not pollute the land. They kept up with the land. They understood the life. And they flourished. It's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. The water, if you see the Hudson River now, oh boy, you'll die just looking at it. I don't know how the fish even are alive in there, but they are. The life is amazing. We try to think like, oh, how was life created? Man, forget how life was created. How do you destroy it? Life don't never stop. You put life in dirt, it'll just adapt, and it's weird. Now, pollute the oceans, the fish still live. They like, we gonna figure out how to do it. The land is polluted. You see, we still alive. So it's a deep thing, but my main thing in this video is, I don't want to convert anyone from their African culture and heritage. If that's what you like, cool. But I just want you to grasp that this is our land. And we have to eventually do something about that. Because they have us living in this system that's new here. That's why I be wanting y'all to understand the Native Americans and the way they lived prior to Columbus. Because it's a very deep thing that we have to grasp. Columbus coming here is new. The way we live now, this is the white man's way, this is the white man's system, and this is why we're struggling in it. Because they know, oh, those are just the natives of the land. And we had problems with their ancestors. A lot of our ancestors are natives of this land, killed a lot of the Europeans, great leaders that they honored and loved. It's a deep thing. And they just ain't never gonna like us. So y'all gotta grasp that. It's a deep, cold-blooded thing. Now, I'm not teaching you to hate anyone or look at white people a certain way. It is what it is. But the main thing is this. This is our land, yet we're not getting any benefits of it. And something has to give. They have to at least give us a state of our own or something. Because everything is just being confused. We running around calling each other coons. Mind you, coon is the name of one of the Native American tribes. You had Coon Clan, Wolf Clan, Bear Clan, Snake Clan, many different clans within the tribes. And this is all our heritage. We run around calling each other coons because white men called us coons. But they wasn't doing it to insult us. But everything a white man called you was insulting if he's trying to take over your land. And if you lost from your heritage and he called you a coon, then it's a deep thing. You think that's a negative thing. But we just need to get into our heritage and our culture. African culture is cool. But there were copper-colored people here that looked just like you. They were you. And this is why you're struggling in the system. Because the natives were struggling in the system because they were not going with it. The same way you see black people not going with it. This is why we in jail. Because we break the law. Because we don't believe in law truly to the core of our spirit. Just like the natives didn't. How are you giving me law? You just a man. Universe already made law. You just got to observe life to understand law. White man law don't mean nothing. And this is why y'all truly don't respect law. Y'all just respect getting punished. So that's why y'all follow the law, those of you that do. But there's many black people and, you know, the Dominicans and Haitians, and we all in jail. Why? Because we're the ones that break the law the most. You go back to slave times, the natives of the land, they were the ones that were outlaws, breaking the law, doing whatever they want. You know cowboys and Indians? Yeah, the Indians were the outlaws, the crooks. And the cowboys was the nice old white men with the cowboy hats. And this is why I was told in that perspective. The cowboys was you. But you was just a free spirit, and you wasn't trying to hear their law. So they said you was a crook, a criminal. It's a deep thing. It's how you get cowboys and Indians. And if you see today, we the Indians, and the white men is the cowboys. Or those who run the land, they the cowboys. Nothing's changed. The only things that changed is we have no clue that we those people. And that's the problem. This is how white men are able to just coast. Or those who own this continent, they're able to coast because black people don't know who they are. They don't realize that they're the natives anymore, so we don't have to worry about them being a problem how they were before. See, before, you couldn't lock up a Native American or a black person. They couldn't lock them up because they didn't obey the law. So even if you lock them up, they like, none of this don't matter. If you lock a black man up now, he doesn't feel like the land is his. We're citizens here. We don't own America. So if you get caught breaking the law, you feel like, in a sense, well, I got caught, so I got to just do my time. But if you felt like this is my country, not yours, and you got locked up, how would your perspective be then? Will you feel like, you'll feel like, shit, this is my house. How you a visitor in my house and now you trying to lock me up? I can do what I want. So that was the perspective in the past. I don't care about your jails, your laws, none of that. You ain't from here. Get out of here. So this is where it was so much confusion. They like, we cannot manipulate the native's mind. And that's why. Because they like, this is our house. You can't come to my house and tell me nothing. Get out of here. They raid the plantations. You have Ann Hook. Wampage. That was his AKA. You had Chief Wampage, a Native American. He wore a mohawk. He looked similar to what I look like now. I got the mohawk, but I got mine braided. But I put a picture of Chief Wampage on my Facebook page before, and I put a picture of me next to it. Similar. But Chief Wampage, he got the nickname Ann Hook because he killed, what was the woman's name? I believe her name was Ann Hook. But anyway, Chief Wampage and them, this is what the natives used to do. They would just pick different plantations and raid them and scalp everybody. They'll behead them, then scalp them. And long story short, the woman, I forgot, I don't think her name was Ann Hook. It was Hook. But I don't think her first name was Ann. But anyway, they ramped up in Ann Hook's plantation where she lived. She was there alone with the dog and the children and whatever little servants they had. And Ann Hook, a Native American, him and his men, they ambushed her. And they told her to tie up the dogs. Because, they wasn't familiar with dogs. Dogs would bite them up and shit. So they like, tie up the dogs and we gonna chill. She tied the dogs up, they killed her. Cut her throat. Killed their kids. They killed the dogs, the goldfish, whatever. They killed everything. They cut her throat. Wampage cut her whole head off. That's why they call him Ann Hook. Because he hooked her. And they was on it like that. If you was white, you getting scalped. We gonna behead you. And we gonna stick your head on the stake so everybody could know that white people not welcome here. Because y'all don't live by the laws of the life. Y'all want to come and do y'all own thing and tell people what to do. And we don't rock like that. So white people were having a lot of trouble. That's why it was very important that they were mixed breeding. They were mixed breed the Africans with the natives on purpose. They were mixed breed themselves with the natives on purpose. Because now you can manipulate the offspring. They don't know their true heritage. Grasp. Kind of mixed. Over generations, the offspring truly don't know that they're the natives of the land. They just like, man, we one of the slaves. We were born like this. They see the natives that they truly the descendants of fighting them and they just don't understand. They like, Well, some did, like Harriet Tubman, Bass Reeves. That's how they was free, man. They banded up with the natives. The natives was on the land all the way into the 1800s. My grandmother's mother, she came to Harlem from South Carolina. She was a Cherokee Indian, and they still had the South Carolina area all the way up into the 1800s. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. A lot of these places is just recently, over the last few 150 years, which just took over. But the natives had still owned South Carolina, the Cherokee. And my grandmother's mother moved to Harlem from South Carolina. That's when white people pretty much ran them out of there. You know, they still had little parts all the way up until the very end. They held on to whatever piece of land they could to the very end. So they ain't never just give it up like take it. Just overpowered. When white people come, they just flee. Like, fuck it, we going to Harlem. They more free out there, you know? And it's just a deep thing. That's when my grandmother and, well, my grandmother was born here. But her sisters were born in South Carolina. In the, I forgot what my grandmother called it, but she said they were with the tribe. Yeah, I think that's what she said. They were with the tribe. And my her sisters, those would be my grand aunts. They were born in the tribe, the Cherokee tribe, out in South Carolina. And by the time my mother was born, it just wasn't good for them out there no more. White people pretty much was out there taking it over. So they came here. So this is why I tell people, I know my heritage. It ain't Africa. It's not that I got anything against Africans. I did a lot of study in African history, but it's just not who we are. I know we like to think the Africans migrated to America a long time ago. Listen, the natives that were here, they did not know the Africans when they came with the white men. They didn't know them. They were not familiar with them, nor the white men. And neither was the Africans familiar with the natives. They were not the same people. And that's okay, because they were both oppressed. But I just want y'all to grasp, we are not the Africans. You do not have the same kind of nature as the Africans. You see, the Africans, they submissive. They submit to the white men because their land been conquered. They've been familiar with this treatment. Black people are not familiar with this. This is new. This is why we so hard-headed still. You got to think, 400 years is not that long. Africa been enslaved since BC times. They mind been systemized, so they been submissive. You're not like that. Grasp. Because you're the native of the land, and you ain't been enslaved that long. When I say you, I mean the people. The Native Americans from 1492 to current day, which would be us. That's not a lot of time. We're still not used to this just from spirit. It takes a long time to wash a person's heritage away. Even if you brainwash them to not know who they are. The heritage is encoded in the DNA. We still do the same thing the natives used to do. The dances, all of that. We still doing the same things. We still sitting around smoking bud, talking shit. Same thing the natives used to do. Nothing's really different. It's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. You still got the same spirit as those people. You still a knucklehead like those people. You still don't want to go with the white man's law like some people. It's a deep thing. If you look at the natives then and you look at black people now, Haitians, Dominicans, I mean all the people of America, we ain't changed them. We still beefing amongst each other, and we still got a problem with this white man's law. And that was the same thing going on in the past. We didn't get along with each other, and we didn't like their laws. That's why we lived free. We lived by universal law, give and receive, things like this. Yeah, we were beefing amongst each other, but No one was selling slaves and all this weird, stupid stuff. It was an act of kindness. If you were a servant, it was a blessing, because you could have been dead. It means your people were conquered. It means my people had beef with your people, so we settled it in war. And my people won. And I could have killed you, but I let you live. And it's a cost to that. And it's fair. But just taking over people for no reason so you can sell them and make them work for you and build up your new world and your new system, this ain't right. They basically came here and went to war with the natives for no reason. For that purpose. That's what makes it bad. What's the point of that? So it's a deep thing with slavery I want y'all to grasp. The natives were never really slaves. Meaning you were never really a slave. You were always a slave by choice, just like now. You choose to get up and go to work. You choose to live by the laws of the system that has been bestowed upon you. But you don't like it. And that's why. Because you're the native of the land, and it takes more than 400 or 500 years to wash away somebody's spirit and the essence of it. It takes more than that. So you have to grasp. They've been finished the Africans off a long time ago. So if you're looking for the Africans to be your ally and friend, no, the Africans are allies and friends with the white men. They've been dealing with them since BC times. They trust one another. White men don't trust you. Africans don't trust you. Why? Because you don't listen. And I want you to grasp. That's the best thing about yourself. Is when you don't listen. Because can't nobody supposed to be telling you what to do. It's a deep, cold-blooded thing. Think about that. White men don't like you. Why? Because we disobedient. Africans don't like you. Why? Because black men are lazy. Because Africans are slaves. They mind been enslaved. So they look at you like, man, why you don't work? Black people, did y'all heard Africans say this about us? Oh, black men's in America, they lazy, they don't like to work. Africans got 8 jobs, they slaved out. They love the white man. It's you. You don't. Because you just got enslaved 400 years ago. So it ain't registered yet. You're still having complications like, nah, something ain't right about this. Why my boss make more money than me and I'm doing all the work? So this is how we are, because slavery is new for us. Natives, we the natives. So you got to grasp. This is why we have the most complications. It's all simple. You don't grasp? Because you don't want to. But at the end of the day, hopefully we can all truly grasp that we're the natives of this land so that we can begin to strategize and come up with a solution on how we can get back at least some of the land so that we can live in the way that the ancestors lived. Because I want to live that way. I don't want to live this stupid way where I got to work for one man to get rich. No, I want to work so that we can all share the wealth equally. If I go to work for you, I need equal share. If you're the boss and you have 8 employees, we should all equally be paid. Meaning the boss and the 8 workers should equally share the wealth. But that's not what's happening. The workers are slaving so the one man can be wealthy. I don't want to live that way. That's why I want to get land. So that people can use the land for learning. I don't want to get the land for me. A lot of people keep asking me stupid ass questions. Oh, I heard you want to get land. Where you want to live? I didn't say I want to get land for me to live. Wherever I want to live don't got nothing to do with y'all. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all get in people's personal lives and say dumb shit. Would I tell you where I live at now? So why the fuck would I want you to, y'all gotta wake up. The land is so I can use it for school. People can live on the land if they want. I don't mind. But the land is for school so people can learn what the land is and how to live off the land. I'm not talking about off the grid and all this dumb stuff y'all be getting lost on. I'm talking the way the natives lived before the system came, where you had true wealth and access and an abundance of anything you want. It had to do with knowledge. You didn't work for a man so you could buy clothes. You learned how to make clothes. And you had as much clothes as you want. Because you had the materials on the land to make whatever you want. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about growing food so you don't have to work for someone to buy food. You can eat and have as much food as you want. You work the land for your goddamn self, to feed yourself. I'm talking about that. Learning how to build a home so you don't have to work to pay rent. Rent is forever. Mortgage is forever because y'all got 30-year mortgages. Most of y'all 30, 40. You gonna be dead for your mortgage paid. So my point is y'all working to pay for shelter, food, clothing forever. When does it stop? When are you free to just live and work for yourself? Never. That's my point. Y'all want to die that way? People are dying this way. Never knowing what it is to have access to everything that life has to offer. And you can only get that if you have land. I don't mean no punk ass, oh, I got an acre with a house. I mean real land where you got animals running around. Like the forest where you got buffaloes running around and squirrels and just an abundance of life. I mean that kind of land. Not a punk-ass lot that you bought and your house built on. Don't no animals live there. I'm talking about real land, untouched. There's still forests all over with animals running wild and they're living. We just don't go in the forest. I got raccoons in my backyard right now. Y'all don't grasp. I deal with raccoons. They walk right by me. They don't fear me enough. It's deep. They don't scared of nobody on my block. They be digging in our garbage. So it's a deep thing. But I live close by forest. I live in a house. And you know how it is when you live in the housey areas. There ain't nothing but forest around. So it's a lot of animals out here. But it's deep because when you live in that environment, you get an understanding of, hold on. There's fruit all around. Like sometimes I'll be walking down the block, there's fruit trees. I could just grab an apple and eat it. So you get an understanding and like, hold on, we live in wrong. If I had untouched land, if I eat meat, I got meat. I don't need to buy meat. There's animals running around. I'm not saying kill animals. I'm just giving you a perspective. People eat meat. They go to the store, they buy meat. So therefore an abundance of animals is killed to keep the shelves full. But if people were hunting their own food, there wouldn't be an abundance of animals being killed. People would be taking what they need. You don't grasp that because you ain't killing the animals. So you like, I don't care. But I'm just trying to give y'all a perspective. If you had land, you could understand. So this is what I want the land for. So people can begin to come out for a day or two and just get an understanding of how to live with the life. Build up their own little shelter or house. I'm not telling you to live like 1492. You can live how we live now, but you got to respect the space. Because the life produces all we need, so the space is important. Building cities all over the forest, that's your resources. We need that. So I just want people to get an understanding of the land. People can come out to the land, spend a weekend there, and just observe and learn. And there'll be people already living there that just can't live in this system. People like me, I just already figured it out. I'ma always have a problem if I got to work for somebody. If I work for you, it got to be because I don't want people to think, oh, I wouldn't work for someone. No. It has to make sense. Me going to work every day so I can buy stuff that life produces freely, but I can't go out and get it freely because you own all the land and this is not going to work for me for the rest of my life. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but that's not going to... I need to be free at some point and get a break and just enjoy all that life has to offer. And you can't never do that if you're living in a system. So this is why I have the GoFundMe set up, and I say I want to get land for school. Meaning school. The land is the school. You come out and you learn. If you want to say, I want to get an understanding of how to build my own home. You come out to the land. You learn. You want to learn how to grow and sow food. Come out there, learn. If you want to come out there. Because, you know, as people are out there growing and sowing, you sow and reap. You may just want to come out there and just get a feel of how it is to just walk and pick your fruit off the tree. Supposed to having to go buy and work and slave. You just get an understanding of, this is simple. If I want food, I just go out into the forest and get it. You want steak, it's in the forest. Like I said, I'm not promoting killing animals, but I'm just giving you a perspective. I want people to come out to the land and understand. I want a new pair. I want a new outfit. You go out, you pick the cotton. If an animal died, you cut the skin off and learn how to make leather out of the skins as they do today still. They just make it watered down, stretching it out, adding other materials to stretch the leather out to get all they can get off one animal's skin. This is why back in the day, if you look at the Native Americans' furs and their leathers, they were so much more better than we have now. Your leather coat gets damaged, and then it's no good eventually. The coats they had, they passed down to their kids. It was the actual animal skin. Animal skin good forever. Grass. A fur coat, you can jump in the water. It's nothing more than the fur of the animal. Animals get wet. So we think dumb, like, a fur coat get wet. A fur coat is the skin of the animal, the fur of the animal. Animals get wet. You got to grasp what their fur is. They have it their whole life. So when a man skinned the animal in the past and wore the skin, the same way we wear it today when you wear your mink coat or your leather jacket, theirs lasts for the rest of their life. They passed it down to their kids. The same way the animal wore for his whole life. You don't have that luxury because the leathers you're getting is being stretched. But it's a deep thing. I want people to get an understanding of free living. Not free because you always got the work, but you working for the life. Giving to the land. Your sweat, your blood, your work, and the land going to give you back so much more than you put in. Your boss ain't. Your boss going to pay you $15, $20 an hour for your time. A lot of people get less than that. But your boss going to pay you $15, $20 an hour for your time. Yet you do so much work in that hour. You do so much more than $15 worth of work in an hour. And can't none of y'all lie to me and tell me y'all don't. Y'all do way more than $15 an hour worth of work. $20 an hour worth of work. So this is my point. You putting your time in and ain't getting back equal value. You put your time into the earth and the life, and you get back more than you put in. You take care of the life, the vegetation. You take care of the animals. And you have an abundance of everything you need. Everything you need comes from the life. Everything we buy and have, it comes from the life. The land. This is why they took over the land. White people are not conquering and colonizing land for no reason. That is where the resources are. I don't think black people understand this. Black people think money is the resource. They don't understand they use the money to buy resources, the things they need. They use the money for that. The money is truly useless. You can't eat it, clothe yourself with it, do nothing with it. You got to buy those things with it. Mind you, if you remove the money in the system, Your work would be making these things. So it's a deep thing. You work to buy clothes. If there was no system, you wouldn't work to buy the clothes. You would work on the clothes for yourself. Because you would have the knowledge of how to sew and make garments for yourself, because you're not busy all day working and slaving for somebody. So you're just learning everything you need to learn for self. Grasp. The same way you know how to cook because you got to eat. Well, a long time ago you would have learned how to sew because you got to clothe yourself eventually and your family. Ain't no stores you go buy. What you need a store to go buy clothes for? You make your own clothes. You're going to make them better anyway. So y'all got to grasp. Same with food. So we just have to learn these things, man. So we could be more self-dependent and get things back to the way they were before all this white man influence and this slave system way that we live. When I tell y'all slaves, I'm not trying to insult y'all. I don't want to be one. And this is how this happened. The more of us that go with the system, it makes those that don't want to have no choice. This is what happened in the past. This is why you in the position you in now where you work. Because you had natives giving in. This was forcing others to have to give in. So we at the point where we at now, where we ain't got no land for ourselves. For even if we don't want to be slaves, now we ain't got no choice. So it's a deep thing. This is why we have to get land, even if we have to pay for it. Get land. Nobody can steal knowledge from you. And the only way you're going to get true knowledge is from the land. I know we like to think going to school and all the things they teach us in school is true knowledge, but it's not. It's slave knowledge to keep you a slave. It teaches you how to be a good slave, how to count money. Slaves need money to buy resources because they're not allowed to own any resources. That's real wealth. Slaves are not allowed to own real wealth, which is resources and land. Land and the resources on them, slaves ain't allowed to own that. They're allowed to own money. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. We got to get land so people can learn the deep things in life. This is why I need y'all to donate to my cause. I need y'all to donate to me for my time in this work that I do, pushing out this knowledge. Because even the life obeys, give, and receive. And no one should have to work or bless you with knowledge or anything for free. So it's a deep thing. Until I can get the life back balanced, I'm going to need y'all to donate to my cause. I'm going to need y'all to donate to my time in doing this. I'm not charging y'all for the knowledge. But give and receive still applies. So pay your $5 per month dues, please, and donate so that I can get some land so that we can get to this real knowledge. Because people have to learn these things. If we spent our time from kindergarten to 12th grade learning how to sow and grow food and understanding the seeds and what grows what time and all these things, if we spent from kindergarten to grade 12 learning this, we'd all know how to grow and sow and be self-dependent on getting our own food. If we were taught how to hunt and how to fish and things like this, dealing with our food during kindergarten to 12th grade, we would all be dependent. If we learned in school between kindergarten and 12th grade how to collect cotton and how to skin the animal and kill the cells within the skin and how to make the leather out of the skin and how to get the different materials like cotton and silks and how to make these things from scratch and then how to sew them together and make different styles of clothing. Let's say from Let's say you learned that from 5th grade to 8th grade. From kindergarten to 5th grade, you learn how to grow and things like this. From 5th grade to 8th, you learn how to make clothing from the raw materials. Because that's what's important. Then maybe from 8th grade to 12th grade, you learn how to build homes. Because we all have to live. We all need shelter. But you learn from the raw materials, from the tree and the wood of the tree, and what kind of carvings of the wood you need. Learn every aspect of building, how to make brick with mud and other different materials that the life provides. And just get an understanding of building from the natural raw materials of the land. How to transfer mud into brick. How to transfer the dead trees into the wood you may need. Well, I don't want to say dead trees, because dead trees ain't that good for wood. But they are, but they not. But it's a deep thing. But how to transfer the wood from the raw materials. Then learn, the architecture work of it, of building. And you learn all that from 8th to 12th grade. You learn electrical work. The way we do it, the unhealthy way, and you learn the healthy, solar, clean way where you get the energy from the sun. Because we can get it the same way. You get copper and aluminum, let's say. This is all you need to attract energy from the sun. The same way you attract it from coal or lemon, whatever. Get your energy the natural way, all the way we do it now, but teach that from 8th through 12th grade. So from 8th through 12th grade, you are learning everything about building from the raw materials. You're learning about how to harness energy to light up your home or your neighborhood or whatever you may want to do. You're learning about how to build canals so you can have a sewer system and water. And you learn all of those things from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. Do you know how smart we would all be? What do you need to know how to count for? You learn how to count when you're doing all those things. You'll learn multiplication, addition, division. You'll learn all of that when you're building and dealing with seeds and dealing with sowing. You learn all of that. I learned math from selling dope. I never understood percentages until I started selling dope and I had to pay niggas. And I said, oh. Then you start to understand things. So it's a deep thing. Everything you learn in school, you can learn in life faster. My cousin, that motherfucker gets on my nerves, but this is a different story. My cousin, he used to get money with me. He was dumb as fuck in school. But he got smart as shit when he was hustling. And it's my point. He was good at math. He knew percentages just like me. Anybody know my cousin growing up, he was not that bright as far as schoolwork goes. He wasn't good at math or good at reading. He was good enough to pass, but he wasn't an exceptional person. But he's good at percentages and all that too, because when you got to pay people and things like this, and you bagging and you chopping and you buying cocaine, you got to understand percentages, grams, weight. These things start to make sense to you. So in school, when they talking about grams and pints and all this, I thought, what are they talking about? But when you start to sell coke, then you grasp, like, oh yeah, because I got to pay for that. If I don't know what a gram is, I ain't going to overpay. So my point that I'm trying to make is that when you're dealing with the life, all the things they teach you in school that they drag out, you would have learned that on top of what you was learning. So if from kindergarten to 12th grade you learning all the things I said, you will acquire all the knowledge that they teach you in school now. On top of that, and this is what I want people to grasp, we shortchanging ourselves. The system is shortchanging us in knowledge, in intellect, in being self-dependent, stealing land from us. which when you steal land from a person, you steal their wealth. You steal the resources. Not only do you steal their wealth, which is their wants, because the more wealth you have, this supplies your wants. But when you steal their land and their resources, you're stealing their needs. Hold on, let me get a little sip of water because I'm getting cotton mouth. Yeah, this is water. My orange juice. If you've been following me a while, you know that's all I drink all day, every day. I don't eat much. I just drink. It's like I've been telling y'all from day one. It doesn't matter what you eat. How much you eat is what matters. And I don't like to eat because it's life. So I drink. I know the juice is life, but it's better than chewing. When you chew, it shows the savage in oneself. It's a deep thing. I don't know if a lot of y'all could grasp that. But when we eat, we chew. And it's like, when you have wisdom, I watch people eat, and it makes me sick. Not that they're eating life. Not that they're eating the animal or the vegetation. Just the no regards for it. The way they chew and enjoy. And they don't even have it's deep. It bothers me. When I eat, I know. Like, the sins of life. It's a deep thing. This is the thoughts when I eat. I'm sorry about the juice. Been talking for an hour straight. Usually I end my videos 30 minutes. I've been talking for an hour straight. So I apologize for the juice. I had to get my mouth straight. I haven't been shaving. So when you don't shave, whoo, it's deep. Lips start getting chapped. It's deep. Start looking different. But where was I? I done lost my train of thought. But it's a deep thing. If we was learning all those things during our childhood, we'll be self-dependent by the time we're grown. And I want to get people back on that path. At the end of the day, a lot of us are grown. I understand that. But there's still new children being born every day, man, and they still have a chance. We could train our children coming up how to be self-dependent like the natives were. Teach them everything I just said we should be learning in grade school. So that by the time our young are grown, they self-dependent. Nobody could take knowledge from you. A person could take your land, but if you got knowledge, you can build up again. It's an easy, simple thing. Nobody could take your knowledge. And this is what we need. So I hope people begin to start to donate and support me. Even if you got land, I'll take the land so that I can make it a school. So people can come out and learn. It's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. But we have to begin to learn. People got to understand slavery a little better. The perspective of slavery, not the history of the individuals. You can know that too. I have whatever you want to know. No, but we need to understand the perspective of slavery, so that one can understand that you live in the same slavery that was in the past here. It never changed. I know they said slavery was over, but you still have rules and laws, and you still have to work. So then nothing changed. They just said you wasn't a slave no more, but you still have to do everything slaves do. Only slaves have rules and laws. Grasp. When you go to work, you got to obey your boss's rules and laws. They may not be the same as the laws of the country, but he has his own laws for his workplace, and you got to obey your whole life. You just obey people's laws because you don't have nothing of your own. And slaves ain't allowed to have nothing of their own. The things we have, we like to think they hold true value, and they don't. Your house holds no value because your house, you can't do nothing with it. It makes you a slave because you got to keep paying on it. Your car, you're a slave to it because it's a never-ending bill. I can't live like that. And I don't know why y'all can't either. It's a deep thing. How can I have a car free? You got to have land. Gas, things. Like I said, resources are on the land. If you had your own land, you wouldn't have to worry about buying gas for your car. You build your own car, gas it off the gas off your own land. Ride a horse. You have to be bothered with cars and polluting your joint. You just ride the life. You can't ride a horse now because, concrete everywhere. It's against the law. There you go again, law. You can't truly do nothing. You can't even stand on the corner or you're loitering. Now, grass, where are you supposed to stand? You're a living being in life, but you can't stand in life because you're loitering. So you can only stand in your house. What if you want fresh air? Like, y'all don't realize how deeply enslaved they trying to make y'all. I say y'all because y'all act like y'all don't see it. I see it. This is why I don't work. And I choose to work for myself and try to build this up for myself. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, I could be at work, making whatever I make doing this for myself and whatever I make as a slave. But I know that has to stop. And you got to stand firm on something. Now, a lot of y'all are slaved out, but y'all can help by donating so that I can get land and do what I need to do. Just because you slave-braided don't mean you got to go with the shit all the way. It got to be a way out. Y'all ain't building up for no way out. Y'all going to be slaving for the rest of y'all lives. A lot of people's parents died working. People's grandparents died working. Never understanding or getting the enjoyment of waking up and working for themselves. Meaning, wake up, I could go for some eggs and toast. And then they go and make it theirself. Working for theirself. You go get the egg from the chicken. Go pluck some wheat and things out from the grass. Make you some bread. Because none of this takes long. We got this idea that this is long. Making bread takes as long as making biscuits or cake. 15 minutes. Make a whole loaf of bread in 15 minutes. Cut it up. Now you got bread for 2-3 days. So this is what I mean by working for yourself. You don't go to work and put 8 hours in for a whole day so you could buy a loaf of bread and shit like that. You put 15-20 minutes of your time into yourself. You can go out there, pluck some wheat, and do what you need to do to make that bread. Simple. You go get you an egg, whatever you need. You want some fish with that, you go catch a fish right quick and do your thing. And now, you just work for yourself. The same way a man works so he can buy the food he wants to eat, you just work for the life, for yourself. You say, oh, I want a new outfit today. You don't go to work to buy it. You go out to the land and get the materials you need, and then you work for yourself, making your outfit. And you spend your days doing this. And then in the evenings, you get your dinner together, and you enjoy the rest of your evening, having sex, partying, or doing whatever it is that you like. If you like looking at the stars through a telescope, you can spend the whole rest of the night doing that. You don't got to go to sleep. You could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, you know what, I feel like sewing me some clothes. You know why? Because you don't got to wake up and go to work tomorrow. Because you work for yourself. You and the land work together for the betterment of you in your life and all the life around, whether it be animals or other people. And this is the understanding that we need back. It's a simple thing. You want clothes, you go get the raw materials off your land, and you spend an hour or 2 or 3 making yourself what you wanted, working for yourself, building up your own reality and how you want to live. You know what? I like dirt bikes. I'm going to spend today making a dirt bike trail on my land so that I can have fun. And you spend your day or the next week making your dirt bike trail. So now you're busy for the next week working for yourself, for the enjoyment and benefit of yourself and those on your land. They going to work with you, and y'all going to work together and do y'all thing. It's a simple thing y'all have to grasp. I want gold. I seen a rapper have a big gold chain. Go get some gold off your land. Because gold everywhere. Y'all don't grasp. Everything is everywhere. You just got to dig for it. Get you some gold, and you smelt it and make you some jewelry. And you spend your day doing that day. You might not want your jewelry next month. And you say, man, it's a bunch of people in different places that's slaved out. They live off money. And sell it to them. Now you got some money. You don't need it, but you got it. Because money is real. They use money. So now you good all across the board. You say, what do I need the money for if I don't need it? Just to have it. It's good to just have things. You never know when you're going to need it. So it's a deep thing. But you just want to get yourself in a position where you be self-dependent all around the board. People don't understand. Slaves are stunting on slaves. Y'all working, this person make more than this person, so they feel like they better than this person, and they completely... Slaves working against slaves. And this is why the system is nice and tight and sturdy. And people suffer. You got people out here homeless. I don't mean bums. I mean you got people that work. They got kids that's going to school, and they just don't make enough. Where they live at, it's just too high. Their credit has been messed up. Simple things like that. And people out here struggling. Homeless. They don't want to go to a shelter because they like, man, I got a job and shit. Like, I don't want to be in that. It's deep. So you got to grasp. People like that don't need to be in them conditions. This would be somewhere they can go. That's why I want to get land. Because I'm going to have people like that come to the land. Listen, man, you don't need to be like that. You come to the land, start working for yourself. I know it's a hard transition. I wouldn't tell them, oh, come to the land and quit your job. You can keep your job. Do whatever you want. And slowly transition over and start to learn. It's deep. You got people that's homeless, but they got hella skills. I'm talking about the bums. Clean them up, bring them to the land. Listen, man, you work the land. I teach them the understandings and balance so they can balance themselves out. And then tell them, yo, you teach others how to do whatever trade you know. Whether it be electrical work, building, I need you to teach the people that's coming to my land to learn. I need you to teach them. And he's blessed and I'm blessed. We both blessed in the same. I help build him up, and he going to help build up those that I send, that come to my land for learning. He going to teach them that. Because I can't sit around teaching everybody everything. My thing is the spirit and the nature of a person. Get you balanced so that you can live in harmony. Bring the bum and clean him up, and he still got the bum mentality. He going to bring that to the land. So that's why I say I got to teach him first. Get his energy and his spirit right. Because I deal with the energy. Emotions. All this is energy. You got to know how to balance that out. You can't always... It's deep. People's self-gratitude and things like this, is the energy of that is too powerful. A person to have a good long run and be blessed. A person to have a short run. A person to have a long run, be blessed, and then they'll go through their hard times, and then they'll be all bitter and mad. As opposed to saying, man, I had a long run. And this is the flip side of the balance. And the same way I enjoyed when it was good, I have to be at peace when it's bad. Because it's all balanced. It's deep. When I used to sell dope and everybody loved me and I was making hella money, it was all good. Then when I stopped with that life, people began to try to slander me and all types of shit. Say I'm a snitch, all type of dumb shit. Never no proof, but just running mouth saying dumb shit. This is what we do. But I never defend myself on that or make it my business to say, hey, look, no, look, I'm not. It's the balance of life, baby. It was all good just a week ago. You got to respect the balance. That's my punishment for that life. I lived that life. I did a lot of things I shouldn't have did. So if I am viewed, I was loved in, if I'm hated now and viewed as a snitch or this thing or that thing and a bad man and he a killer and this and that, it is fair. You have to grasp. You've got to accept your balance. It's a beautiful thing. Y'all stress yourselves out. Y'all forget that y'all was good. When you bad, you forget you was good. You got to pull for that. So when people slandering me and things, I be like, they loved me before. This is just a balance. I didn't get mad when they loved me. And I wasn't doing good things. So now that the good things has come back on me, I accept it. Because that should be worse. Talking shit don't mean nothing. Talk all the negative stuff you want about me because I'm supposed to be here. If you want to go on account for fair, literally, well then I probably might not even be alive, supposed to be, so I'll take it. It's all good to me. Slander me, I'll take that. That's better than... The life is kind. I observe the life and I understand. The life is kind. We go through things in life and we like, man, this is fucked up. And you don't think about the fucked up things you did or the good times you had doing fucked up shit. To say, man, life is beautiful. Damn, I did fucked up shit. It's bad now, but oh man, it could be worse because I'm supposed to get it worse, man. And this is what brings you through the bad times. If you balance, the bad times ain't really bad because you like, man, I had good times. Those good times is for now. It's a deep thing. You go through the bad times, things get good. You pull for the bad times. That's where the knowledge is. That's how you learn. You're like, oh, things good now. Now let me pull for the bad times. So I can remember how I got there, the lesson there, and then apply it now that everything is good so that I don't repeat that. It's a deep thing. And then when you're going through your bad times, you pull for the good times to keep you strong during the bad times. So all is balanced out. So you going through bad times right now? Think about the good times you went through. When things was good for you and bad for others. And you didn't care. And it's like that now for you. You doing bad and others doing good and they don't care. And you just look at the balance. And you just respect it. And you just think about the times you were doing good. And you take that energy from your good times. And say, okay, I was doing good this long. And I ain't been doing bad as long as I was doing good. Say you're doing good for 7 years and you've just been doing bad for about 6-7 months now. You know, it's all your perspective. Life is balance. You're not going to go through bad times forever. It's for the purpose of the balance. You pull from the bad times to keep you good in the good times. You pull from the good times to sustain you during the bad times. So when you in bad spirit, when you're going through bad things, you in bad spirits. Because you ain't pulling from that good time energy and saying, even though I'm going through bad times, I still got good memories. And I'm going to let those sustain me for now while things is bad. And all will balance itself back out. And this is how I live. So I understand the energies. That was my point of breaking that down, just to give y'all an understanding of energies and how they work. And how life is balanced. And you just have to, it's a deep thing. I got people troll me on here. And every video I say, they got something dumb to say. But then I got people that say, you're a genius. You're divine. So you got to respect it. I get 15 people say good things and 3 saying bad. Respect it. I'll take that. Y'all want everything good. You want everybody to say you perfect. I'm not looking for that. If you grasp, you grasp. If you negative, you negative. I block away negativity. I block away negativity and negative people. So just keep that in mind. But it's a deep thing. We just got to pull for knowledge, fairness, and balance. Support your main man solid so I can get this land and we can really dive in. Y'all be groovy.